Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah. This is MD Saiful Islam, an assistant teacher of a renowned high school of Nogari district of Bangladesh, and you are most welcome in my Saiful English Academy and Raisa English Private Home. My dear learners, hope that you are very fine by the praise of Almighty Allah and watched my previous classes smartly. And of that, my dear learners, you are also connected with me through watch my video class and with the reference of my previous classes. Today's class, I have been present in future with a new arrangement and class named narration of interrogative sentence. Narration of interrogative sentence. My dear learners, in my previous class, class number 1 about narration, you were told that, my dear learners, what's narration? You were told that, my dear learners, the speech of a speaker in a sentence is called usually narration. You were told that, my dear learners, what's classification of narration? You were told that, my dear learners, narration is classified into two ways, direct narration and indirect narration. You were also told that, my dear learners, direct narration has two parts. Number one, reporting verb, and number two, reported speech. The middle space in the comma and inverted comma is called reported speech, and outer part of reported speech is called reporting verb. You were also told in class number 1 that, my dear learners, about some basic rules of changing narration from direct to indirect. You were also told that, my dear learners, what's person? You were told that, my dear learners, a noun or a pronoun used in a sentence as a subject, as an object, or as a possessive is called person. This person is classified into three ways: first person, second person, third person. What's first person? You are told that, my dear learners, the speaker of a sentence is called first person. That means I and we are called first person. What's second person? The listener of a sentence is called second person. That means you is called second person. And except I, we, and you, all categories of noun and pronoun are used to in a sentence are called third person. Again, third person has two categories. Number one, third person singular number, and third person plural number. You are also told that, my dear learners, if subject of reported speech is first person, its must be sent according to subject of reporting verb. You are also told if subject of reported speech is second person, it must be changed according to object of reporting verb, and if subject of reported speech is third person, there is no any change of suspense of person at the time of changing narration from direct to indirect. You are also told some basic rules of telling narration, especially verb. There are some verbs, my dear learners, there are some special or particular verbs which are changed at the time of changing narration from direct to indirect, such as amateur must be changed into was were must be changed into had been, shall oblique will must be changed into would, can must be changed into could, may must be changed into might, come must be changed into go, must be changed into had to, V1 must be changed into V2, V2 must be changed into had plus V3, etc. Changing rules of verb. You are also sure, my dear learners. You are also told that, my dear learners, there are some adverb we can get at the time of changing narration from direct to indirect, which must be changed, such as today must be changed into that day, tonight must be changed into that night, yesterday must be changed into the day before, last day must be changed into the previous day, last night changed into the previous night, last month changed into the previous month, last week must be changed into the previous month, last year must be changed into the previous year, tomorrow must be changed into the next day. The next day must be changed into the following day. The next night must be changed into the following night. The next week must be changed into the following week. The next month must be changed into the following month. Next year must be changed into the following year. This must be changed into that. This must be changed into those. Here must be changed into there. Hither must be changed into hither. Ego must be changed into before. Thus must be changed into so, etc. Basic rules of narration. You are also shown in my first class of narration. My dear learners, in my second class about narration, you were also told that, my dear learners, some rules or structures of assertive sentence at the time of changing narration from direct to indirect. In my class number 2, you were shown that, my dear learners, what's an assertive sentence. You were also told that, my dear learners, an assertive sentence is a sentence which describes a statement or an assertion, and this assertive sentence interchange into choice, affirmative sentence and negative sentence. Affirmative sentence is a sentence which denotes the sense of an affirmation, and negative sentence is the sentence which denotes the sense of negation. And you are also told that, my dear learners, the structure of changing rules of narration of assertive sentence. You are also shown that, my dear learners. You are told that, my dear learners, at the time of changing narration of assertive sentence, there is no change of repeating verb. Number 2, removing comma, inverted comma, you will have to use conjunction that. Then number 3, subject of repeated speech according to subject of repeating verb, verb of repeated speech according to repeating verb, according to basic rules of narration, and extension according to basic rules of narration, and finally ended with the notes of full stop. Hope that you have understood clearly. And with the reference of my previous two class about narration, class number 1 and class number 2, this class I have been present included with the new class named narration of interrogative sentence. Narration of interrogative sentence. But before starting to this class, my dear learners, I want to declare the topic of today's class, my dear learners. In this class, at first, I am trying to show you about definition of an interrogative sentence. Interrogative sentence. Secondly, my dear learners, I'm trying to show you about selection way of an interrogative sentence. Interrogative sentence. Thirdly, my dear learners, I'm trying to show you about structures changing. Sorry, my dear learners. Thirdly, I'm trying to show you about structure of changing narration of an interrogative sentence. And finally, my dear learners, I'm trying to show you about some examples of changing narration of an interrogative sentence. So, my dear learners, now take a look at the board and try to understand. My dear learners, firstly, I'm trying to show you about the definition of an interrogative sentence. My dear learners, we can say that, my dear learners, an interrogative sentence is the sentence which asks any question to any body about anything. Okay, my dear learners, if we want to define an interrogative sentence, we can say that, my dear learners, an interrogative sentence is a sentence which asks any question to anybody about anything of the job you have understood clearly. Maintenance. Now I'm trying to show you about selection way of an interrogative sentence. You have to mind that maintenance. We can select an interrogative sentence into two ways. Into two ways. Number one, starting word, auxiliary verb, and finally ended with the notes of question mark. Okay, my dear learners. Secondly, we can select an interrogative sentence starting word W is question and finally ended with the notes of question mark. Okay, my dear learners, you have to mind that, my dear learners, we can select an interrogative sentence into two ways. Number one, starting word any auxiliary verb, and finally ended with the notes of question mark. And secondly, starting word W is question, and finally ended with the notes of question mark. My dear learners, of course, you know that there are helping. Sorry. There are another name of auxiliary verb is helping verb, which helps a principal verb all time to form voice, changing sentence, various kinds of topics in English grammar, and there are 24 categories of auxiliary verb we can see in our English grammar such as am, is, are, was, were, have, has, had, do, does, did, can, could, may, might, shall, should, will, would, must, need, dare, ought to, used to. Of course, this was the discussion matter of my previous classes. My dear learners, secondly, starting word W is question. And finally ended with the notes of question mark. Of course, you know that there are 9 categories of WS questions, such as who, what, why, when, where, whom, how, and how. So, my dear learners, hope for that you have understood clearly. Now, I'm trying to show you about rule number one. My dear learners, take a look at the board and try to understand. If any interrogative sentence is started with any auxiliary verb, you will have to follow the structure below. My dear learners, the structure is that, my dear learners, that first we'll have to use subject of repeating verb. Then we'll have to use asked instead of such of repeating verb. Then we'll have to use object of repeating verb. Then we'll have to use conjunction if, removing comma, inverted comma. Then we'll have to use as earlier as like as assertive sentence, narration of assertive sentence, subject of reported space, verb of reported space, extension of reported space, and finally use with the notes of full stop. Okay, my dear learners, at this moment we'll have to set the structure. My dear learners, what structure? The structure is that, my dear learners, at first we will have to use subject of reporting verb. Then we'll have to use asked instead of site. Then we'll have to use object of reporting verb. Then we'll have to use conjunction if instead of comma, inverted comma. Then we'll have to use subject of reported space, verb of reported speech, extension of reported space, according to basic rules of narration, which was the discussion matter of my previous class number 1 of narration. And finally, we have to use the notes of full stop. My dear learners, with the reference of the structure, I have written three example. So, my dear learners, try to comprehend whatever the things I want to make you understand. And the first sentence, look at the board and try to understand. It started with auxiliary verb will. Okay, my dear learners, and finally ended with the notes of question mark. So, my dear learners, we may be sure this sentence, of course, an interrogative sentence, and when you will be sure about an interrogative sentence of narration, then instantly you'll have to follow the structure at the time of changing narration from direct to indirect. At first, we'll have to subject. Here, subject of reporting verb, row him, Then we'll have to use asked instead of setio, then object of a referring verb, then we'll have to use if, deleting comma inverted comma, then subject of reported space. Look at the board and try to understand. You, of course, second person, and you are told that, my dear learners, if subject of reported space is the second person, it must be changed according to object of reporting verb. So, my dear learners, you will be changed into I. Then verb here verb will and must be changed into would. Then extension go to school. Tomorrow must be changed into the next J. Next J. And finally, in the redundance of full stop. How far that you have understood clearly. Now think about example number 2. Raisa said to me, Raisa said to me, comma inverted comma, do you learn English daily? My dear learners, take a look at the board and try to understand. This sentence is started auxiliary verb to do. And finally, ended with the notes of question mark. Of course, interrogative sentence. And when you will be sure about any sentence of interrogative sentence, instantly you'll have to follow the structure. At first, you'll have to write subject of reporting verb, then you'll have to use asked instead of said to, then object, then if, deleting comma inverted comma, then subject. Take a look at the board and try to understand. So here subject you, of course second person, and it must be changed according to object of reporting verb. So my dear learners, you must be changed into subject I. Okay, my dear learners, mind that, my dear learners, if an interrogative sentence is started do oblique does, do oblique does, do oblique does. You have to mind that, my dear learners, do oblique does must be deleted, but V1 form must be changed into V2 form at the time of changing narration from direct to indirect. So, my dear learners, here verb learn and V2 form of verb learn, of course, learned. Then extension English jelly. Okay, my dear learners, hope that you have understood clearly. My dear learners, now think about example number 3. Abdullah said to me, Abdullah said to me, comma inverted comma, did you go to school? Yes, Charlie. My dear learners, of course, this narration is, of course, interrogative sentence because this sentence is started with auxiliary verb did. Auxiliary verb did. So, try to follow the structure. At first, subject. Here, subject of reporting verb Abdullah and asked instead of said. Then object of reparting verb, then conjunction if, deleting comma inverted comma, then you'll have to use subject of reported space, and here subject you, of course, you know that, my dear learners, if subject second person of reported space must be changed according to object of reporting verb, so you will be changed according to object me, and subjective form of me, of course, I. My dear learners, mind that if any sentence is started auxiliary verb did, in this case did must be removed. But verb must be changed V1 from V1 to had plus V3. Had plus V3. So try to use verb and then try to verb had plus V3 form of verb of go is, of course, gone. To school. Yesterday must be changed into the J before. Okay, my dear learners, of the term you have understood clearly. My dear learners, now I'm trying to show you about rule number 2. Rule number 2. In rule number 2, you'll have to mind that, my dear learners, if any interrogative sentence, if any interrogative sentence is started with W is question. W is question. You will have to follow this structure. Media learners, in this case, you will have to mind that media learners, there will be no any change of the that structure, the previous structure, but in the middle of the statement, instead of if you will have to use W is question of the statement. Okay, media learners, of the you have understood clearly. Media learners, in rule number 2, I'm trying to show you about the structures of interrogative sentence, but at first I want to show you about precondition of this rule. The precondition of this rule is that, my dear learners, if any interrogative sentence is started with any WH question, you will have to follow the structure below. Structure is below that, my dear learners. At first, you have to use subject of reporting verb. Then you have to use asked instead of said you. Then object of reporting verb. Then deleting in comma inverted comma. You have to use WH question. Use to WH question of the reported space. Then you have to use subject verb extension of reported space according to the basic rules of changing narration from direct to indirect and final ended with the notes of full stop. Okay, my dear learners, take a look at the board and try to understand. Now I am trying to show you about some examples referring this rule. Suppose he said to me, "What are you doing now?" Okay, my dear learners, take a look at the board and try to understand. This sentence is started with WH question what. So, my dear learners, and finally ended with the notes of question mark. Of course, interrogative sentence. And when you will be sure about any categories of sentence or interrogative sentence, instantly you have to follow the structure. At first, subject of a reporting verb, then asked instead of said, then object. Here object me and deleting comma inverted comma, you have to use WH question of the repeated space. Here given WH question of repeated space is that what, my dear learners. Then you have to use subject. Here subjective. Of course, you know that, my dear learners, use second person and must be changed according to object of reporting verb. So you me must be changed into I. Then a verb are will be changed into was. Then extension join now must be changed into then. Finally, full stop. Okay, my dear learners, look at the board and try to understand the second example. Raisa said to me, where are you going last evening? Okay, my dear, let's take a look at the board and try to understand. This sentence is started with the WH question, where, and finally ended with the notes of question mark. So, my dear, this sentence, of course, and interrogative sentence, and when you will be sure about any sentence of interrogative sentence, instantly you have to follow the structures. Here, subject of reported space, Raisha. Then you have to use asked instead of said. Then object deleting inverted comma the given W is questions. Here W is question where. Then subject here subject you and must be changed according to object of reporting verb according to the basic rules of changing narration. So me will be must change into subject I. Okay, middle learners. Then try to change the verb. Here verb where, and where must be changed into H been. Extension going, and last evening turned into the previous evening. Finally, with the notes of full stop of the tour, you have understood clearly. My dear learners, I don't want to learn into this class, but I want to share some information with you, my dear learners. Of the tour, you know that I'm a new teacher in a YouTube channel, and I'm trying to use English conversation, though I'm a Bangladeshi, but so, my dear learners, if you notice any faults or mistakes in the midst of my video classes, please excuse me and free to all my dear learners so that I can help you, I can serve you, I can cooperate in this way through my video classes. So, thank you very much. No more. Told you I come to see you again with a new advertisement in class. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.